leave my house. It's not Daddy, it's Tom. Ever since your father left, she's become insecure. She's worried he might come back. Tom's only dropped in for a cup of tea. He won't be stopping long.
She really is a bad-tempered little dog.
I'll take her inside. Oh. You obviously reminded too much of your father.
But I didn't know how you could have something as bad-tempered as that in the house.
I'm used to it. I had your father for 32 years. Only joking, darling. Well, how is Daddy? You two boys getting along all right?
Fine.
I'm so glad he's with you. Do you know when he first decided to leave, he was going to go off and stay in a hotel? Can you imagine your father living in some squalid little hotel?
No. I find it hard to believe he's living in my squalid little flat.
What's the matter? You two had a row?
No, not at all.
You can tell me. I know what he's like to live with. He's a dear man, but he's very tricky sometimes. Now, if I can be of any help, don't hesitate to ask.
Mum, can I be honest with you?
Yes, of course. But pass me those bedding plants, would you, darling?
Yes. I can't believe you're really getting divorced.
No, neither can I. Isn't it wonderful?
No, it's not wonderful. It's awful. Divorce is a terrible, traumatic business. It tears you apart. It's destructive. It's a living hell.
Really? I find it quite therapeutic. Look how the garden's improved.
I'm serious.
Well, if it's all that bad, why did you and Helen get divorced?
Well, because our marriage was even worse. Anyway, it was different. We'd only been married 2 minutes. It is different. You and Dad have been married for 32 years. It's ridiculous.
Divorce is not just the prerogative of the young, you know.
You know what I mean. Besides, Helen and I didn't have children to consider. And I don't want to be the product of a broken home. No, but seriously, this is the time when you and Dad should be settling down to enjoy your old age.
I agree. Why do you think we're getting divorced?
I mean together.
Tom, I love your father, but I can't live with him. And after 32 years, we both feel that we get more out of life by living apart. But divorce is the natural conclusion to our marriage. I find it all terribly exciting.
I don't believe this.
In any case, your father needs somebody much younger than me. You know what he's like. He's terribly randy. And he's very demanding. I can't be bothered with all that. I've got far more important things to do in the garden. To tell you the truth, I never have been that keen.
Mum, for goodness sake.
Tom, you're a doctor. If I can't talk to you, who can I talk to?
Your own doctor.
Oh, no, darling. No, he was our best man.
Hello?
Dr. Latimer,
Yes, speaking.
this is Lady Greyshot. I have an absolute emergency. You see, I developed the most frightful
Excuse
rash
me,
on my chest.
Lady
It
Greyshot.
simply couldn't be more inconvenient.
Excuse
because I
me.
have to attend this function tomorrow in the presence of royalty. So you really must come over immediately. Hello? Hello? Are you there?
Yeah, Lady Greyshot, I think you must be a patient of my father's, Dr. Toby Latimer.
Your father?
Yes. I'm Tom Latimer.
But I thought this was his number.
Yeah, he's staying here, but he's not in.
Well, where is he?
I don't know.
When will he be back?
I'm afraid I can't tell you.
But it's imperative that I speak to him immediately.
Lady Greyshot, may I suggest that you call him in the morning at Harley Street? Tell him that you're going to some do tomorrow night and that you've got an unsightly rash on your chest.
Should I tell him that Princess Alexandra will be there?
Yes, by all means, tell him that Princess Alexandra will be there. Yes.
Can't you come to see me?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
I'd make it worth your while.
No, it's not a question of money, Lady Greyshot. You see, I'm a GP.
You're a what?
I'm a general practitioner. I work within the NHS,
A what?
the National Health Service. It doesn't matter.
Suppose I was dying. Dying?
Well, yeah, Well, if you were dying, I suppose it would be...
Well, there you are, then.
I'm afraid I can't continue with this anymore, except to advise you that if you still have the rash tomorrow evening, you should wear something with a high neck. Why me? Hmm? Just why me? Hi, Dad.
Hello, Tom. Are you decent? We've got a guest.
Oh, my God. One sec.
Oh, you'll do. Come on in. Tom, I don't think you've ever met Madeline, have you, my secretary?
No, I think we've talked on the phone. How do you do?
Hello.
We've just got back from Covent Garden. Madeline had a spare ticket for the opera.
Oh, how nice.
Let me take your coat.
Oh, thanks.
I'll go and get some coffee. Tom will look after you.
Okay. Look, I feel awful. I'm sure we must be keeping you from your bed.
No, please, do sit down. One sec, I'll just...
I think you've just crushed your nightcap.
No problem. Look, why don't you make yourself at home?
Right.
You just sort of... Excuse me, yes, well, excuse me, it just sort of, won't be a sec.
Nice girl, isn't she?
What the hell are you playing at?
What?
What are you thinking of?
What do you mean?
Going out with your secretary.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I hoped you wouldn't find out.
Look, Dad, apart from the fact that you're getting divorced, which puts you in a very vulnerable position, I think it's a bit bloody much you bringing her back here.
I beg your pardon.
Now, look, Dad, I know you're getting divorced, but you are not divorced yet. You are still married to my mother, which puts me in a very embarrassing position.
Don't you think you're jumping to conclusions?
12:45 at night, and you roll in with your secretary, and I'm jumping to conclusions. How?
Tom, can I just say
Now, listen,
something?
Dad, I am not a prude. I don't care what you get up to. It is none of my business.
Quite.
Quite. We're not having you getting up to it here. Frankly, I'm not prepared for my flat to be used as some sordid little love nest.
Why don't you say it a little louder? I don't think Madeline quite heard that.
I'm sorry. Why choose your secretary? I mean, talk about your own doorstep. Dear, oh, dear. I mean, before you know it, she will be cited in your divorce case. And
Can I help?
No, we're just waiting for the coffee to brew.
Madeline, Tom was just saying something to me which I think he ought to repeat to you. Go on, Tom. Tell Madeline what you were saying.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying to my father. And it's only my opinion, of course. You see, who the hell can that be this time of night?
Probably Nigel, my fiancé.
Yes, he's something in the city, isn't he?
He was working late tonight. That's why I had the spare ticket. Dr. Latimer very kindly suggested that Nigel could pick me up here.
I suppose I could have taken Madeline home myself, but one doesn't want to start the neighbors talking. You know how some people's minds work.
Dad, breakfast ready? Dad?
Good morning.
Good morning. What are you doing?
Packing.
Why?
I'm leaving you.
You can't leave. I've made breakfast.
Good. I don't want to leave on an empty stomach.
That's where you get to go. Back to Mother?
That's supposed to be fun.
No.
Of course I'm not going back to your mother. If you remember, we are getting divorced. No, I shall probably look into a hotel.
You don't want to live in some squalid little hotel.
No, I don't. I was thinking of the Savoy.
Dad, I promised Mum that I'd look after you.
Well, that's very kind, but I think last night you overdid it.
It was a misunderstanding. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry, too. Sorry that I can't bring home a member of the opposite sex, even my secretary, without my own son jumping to the worst conclusions. You obviously have a very low opinion of my moral standards.
Just look at it from my point of view. Madeline is a very attractive girl. You are a very attractive man.
Heavens, I'm not that attractive.
You are. Very attractive.
Even so, that's no excuse. Two eggs this morning, eh? You can't buy me with a big breakfast and a red carnation, you know.
I've just tried to make amends for last night. It was unforgivable. I don't know what else I can say.
Well, for a start, you can tell me where you got such a lovely carnation at this time in the morning. I need a new one for my overcoat. Where'd you get it?
From your overcoat.
Oh, well, it's the thought that counts, I suppose. Thank you. Kill.
By the way, a patient of yours rang last night. Is a Lady Greyshot.
Yeah.
She's going to some do tonight, and she's got a rash on her chest.
Probably being attended by royalty.
Oh, yes. Princess Alexandra, as a matter of fact.
Yes, it's always the same. She can't drive round Buckingham Palace without coming out in spots.
Really?
She once got the worst case of hives I've ever seen. Do you know how?
No.
Shaking hands with the Duke of Edinburgh.
Good Lord. Tell me, what are you going to do about it?
Same as last time. Tell her to wear a dress with a high neck.
Good idea. Well, I better go to work.
Right. I'll tell you where I'm staying.
No, please, don't leave. I don't want you living all alone in a hotel because we had some silly little misunderstanding. This is your home until you find yourself a nice flat where you can make a home for yourself.
Some little love nest where I can take my secretary.
Dad, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Look, I apologize. I apologized last night. I apologize again this morning, and I'm apologizing now. This is your home for as long as you want it, if you want it. And if you want to leave, well, then you must leave, if that's the way you feel. But just remember this. To err is human, and to forgive is divine.
Steady on, Tom. You'll curdle the milk.
Ah, Louise. I'm glad I've caught you. I got behind with my calls. Will you ring Mrs. Rayburn? Apologize to her and tell her I'll see her first thing after lunch. You know what a state she gets into. She probably thinks I've forgotten her. Oh, any messages?
Yes, Mrs. Rayburn called in quite a state, wondering if you'd forgotten her. I said you'd probably got behind in your calls and you'd see her first thing after lunch.
Louise, why are you so inefficient? Anything else?
Yes. Your father called and Charles spoke to him.
Oh, is Charles still here?
Yes, but he's finished. We had a light surgery today.
Ah, not surprised. They've all been having home visits.
Oh, and your wife called. Sorry, ex-wife. She didn't leave a message.
She probably called to see if I was fit and well. She gets worried about her alimony. You know, Louise, must be at least a week since I heard from that delightful lawyer friend of hers, the captivating Harvey Kramer. Extraordinary.
She sounded a bit bad-tempered.
Ah, one of her better moods.
Yes, darling, of course. I will, my darling. Yes, I will, darling. No, darling, it's just my coffee went down the wrong way. Yes, I will. All right, I'll see you later, sweetheart. Love you, too. That was one of my private patients.
How is Susan?
Fine.
Oh, for heaven's sake, put that thing up, will you? What is the point of sticking posters up if you ignore them?
Those are for the patients, not for me.
You are a disgusting slob.
You have a charming bedside manner, Dr. Latimer.
Thank you.
Oh, well, listen. Susan rang to ask if we could swap round evening surgery. You do tonight, I'll do tomorrow night. I forgot. We've got to go out to dinner.
Yes, of course. Where are you going? Somewhere nice?
Yes. Very nice. Helen's. We're invited to dinner.
Well, what are you looking so coy about? I don't mind if you have dinner with my ex-wife.
Well, I don't want you to think I'm being disloyal.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. You were my best man. Susan was chief bridesmaid.
Well, that's how it should be, isn't it? I mean, you've got your life to lead. Helen's got hers. There's no reason why Susan and I can't be friendly with both of you.
Well, that's right. You can have dinner with who the hell you like. Doesn't bother me if you want to be disloyal.
Fine.
Fine. And while you're getting stuck into the smoked salmon and roast pheasant, just remember who's been paying for it.
I will.
No, not Lady Bountiful, but Muggins here.
I tell you what, Tom, I'll take a doggy bag. Bring some back for you.
Terrific.
Oh, by the way, look, your father rang. He left rather a strange message. He said, don't wait up because he's playing bridge, but he'll see you at the Love Nest tonight. Can I come and stay at your flat?
Well, it's not as exciting as it sounds, Charles. It's just my father's warped sense of humour.
Oh, he sounds well.
He should be. He's got me waiting on him hand and foot.
I must say, he's quite a lad, isn't he? Doesn't waste time.
What do you mean?
Well, I hear he's got a young lady already.
What are you talking about? And what has my father been telling you?
Well, Susan told me.
Susan told you what? Now, what young lady? Look, you ring Susan now and tell her to stop spreading rumours.
Well, it's not a rumour. No. Susan told me that Helen had told her that a friend of Helen's had seen your father at Covent Garden last night with the most gorgeous girl. A model, I believe.
She is not a model. She's my father's secretary.
Secretary?
Yes.
Talk about on your own doorstep. Well, if I was you, I should advise him to either get a new secretary or a new girlfriend. Can't have both.
Now, for goodness sake, Charles, can't my father be seen with a girl of the opposite sex, with people like you jumping to the wrong conclusion?
Not if she's young and pretty, no. Well, come along, Tom. What do you expect people to think? Especially when he's getting a divorce. No smoke without fire.
She is engaged to something in the city.
Well, no wonder she prefers your dad's company.
Now, look, Charles, I'm hoping, given a bit of time, that my parents might just get together again. Yes, I am. And rumours like that are not going to help. My God, I'm going to ring Helen now and tell her to stop spreading malicious
No,
gossip.
I wouldn't interfere. I mean, you know Helen's temper.
No. I'm going to see her. Good morning, Florrie.
Morning, Doctor.
Will you tell Mrs. Latimer I want to have a word with her?
Oh, you've just missed her, Doctor. Gone to have lunch with her solicitor. That nice Mr. Kramer.
Oh, well. Well, never mind.
Well, can I give her a message for you, Doctor?
No, it's all right. I'll, call her later on.
I've just had a thought. If you're quick, you might catch her at your mother's. I know Mrs. Latimer was picking her up on the way.
Well, we hope that our late-night thriller kept you on the edge of your seat. BBC One is now closing down. Good night, everybody. Sleep well.
Dad?
Oh, hello, Tom. Why aren't you in bed? Waiting up to see if I'm smuggling any birds in?
I want to talk to you. Urgently.
Well, what's the matter, old chap?
Well, it...
Oh, come on, Tom. You can tell me. Come on, out with it. What's your problem, old boy?
Well, I haven't got a problem. You have. You were seen at Covent Garden.
What do you mean I was seen at Covent Garden?
And Charles asked me about your gorgeous girlfriend.
Girlfriend? What are you talking about?
Madeline.
Oh, Tom. You're surely not going to start all that over again, are you?
Look, if I can jump to the wrong conclusion, so can other people, including Helen.
Helen?
Yes. A friend of Helen's saw you and Madeline together at Covent Garden. She told Helen, who told Susan, who told Charles, who told me. That's how rumors start. No smoke without fire.
Tom, you're taking the whole thing far too seriously. If your ex-wife wishes to spread rumors about me, let her get on with it. I don't find that a problem.
Well, I agree, but that's not the problem.
Well, what is?
Helen told Mum.
Well, so what? I mean, your mother and I have a very good relationship, and she knows Madeline. Oh, come on, I'll explain it to her, don't worry.
Fine, but I still haven't got to the problem.
No?
Helen took Mum to see Harvey Kramer.
Who?
You know, that lawyer friend of hers, Harvey F. Kramer, who wrote to you once.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they all had lunch together, and knowing Harvey as I do, that, I think, is your problem.
Why?
Well, because being a shyster lawyer, he can now smell an even more expensive divorce, which is going to make him a lot of money. Your money. It's a no smoke without fire situation, which in legal terms means a knocking off your secretary situation.
That is absolutely outrageous. And Helen has no right whatsoever to involve your mother with this Harvey F. shyster. You get on the telephone and tell her to now, right now, to mind her own...
No, calm down, Dad. I have already spoken to Helen.
And what does she say?
Firstly, she cares about Mother even if we don't.
Oh.
I know, it's just her way of getting back at me. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Secondly, tomorrow morning there'll be a letter arriving here first thing.
Apologizing, I hope.
Not quite. Requesting details of your relationship with a Miss Madeline Forbes.
That does it. I'm going to telephone your mother right now.
All right, I've spoken to Mum. She's going to come round here tomorrow night. We'll sit down, have a nice chat, and sort it all out. And if necessary, we'll ask Madeline and her fiancé to join us.
Ah, well, I don't think that would be a very good idea. They've had a row. He's broken off the engagement.
Why?
He's convinced something's going on between me and Madeline.
Shows how careful you've got to be when you're going through a divorce. I mean, people are always prepared to say the worst things about you.
But not your mother. It simply isn't in her nature. In all our married life, she has never once shown suspicion of me. Never. Not even that time with Gloria Matthews.
But Aunt Gloria?
But she's not your real aunt. It was a long, long time ago. I'm sorry I mentioned it.
You didn't. It slipped out.
Look, it was almost 20 years ago. A minor, minor indiscretion, which your mother never knew about.
Auntie Gloria.
Now, look, Tom, the last thing I want to do is to hurt your mother. Now, this is something that she has never known anything about. So, for heaven's sake, keep quiet.
Of course. But Auntie Gloria...
Anyway, you could hardly call it infidelity. It happened on foreign soil.
Oh, well. Auntie Gloria.
Well, of course, Toby, I said to Helen. I don't believe a word of it. Madeline's such a nice young girl. She's from Wokingham.
Right.
Besides, she's engaged, isn't she?
Yes. Do you like lemon tea or with milk?
Lemon, please, darling. Do you want a hand?
No, you two carry on talking.
Anyway, of course, you're absolutely right, darling. I mean, the whole thing was blown up out of all proportion.
She is a pretty girl.
Oh, yes, she's very pretty.
Let's face it, Toby, you've always had an eye for pretty girls.
Well, an eye, yes. I mean, just because one's on a diet, it doesn't mean to say one can't look at the menu. Mark you, I still think that Helen had absolutely no right to drag you off to meet this Kramer fellow.
Here, here.
Well, she was looking after my interests. It was very sweet of her.
Oh, Mother, you're so naive. You both are. You two think divorce is so simple. But once it gets in the hands of lawyers like Harvey Kramer, it can turn out to be very nasty. Dad, get the coffee table, will you?
No, that's not fair. He's a charming man and most helpful. Oh, but I agree. It would be ridiculous to name Madeline in our divorce case.
Absolutely right, of course.
I said to Harvey yesterday, if one was going to name anybody, we should name Aunt Gloria. Shall I be Mum? Stop being silly, Woodhouse. It's not Daddy, it's Tom. Ever since your father left, she's become insecure. She's worried he might come back. Tom's only dropped in for a cup of tea. He won't be stopping long.
She really is a bad-tempered little dog.
I'll take her inside. Oh. You obviously reminded too much of your father.
But I didn't know how you could have something as bad-tempered as that in the house.
I'm used to it. I had your father for 32 years. Only joking, darling. Well, how is Daddy? You two boys getting along all right?
Fine.
I'm so glad he's with you. Do you know when he first decided to leave, he was going to go off and stay in a hotel? Can you imagine your father living in some squalid little hotel?
No. I find it hard to believe he's living in my squalid little flat.
What's the matter? You two had a row?
No, not at all.
You can tell me. I know what he's like to live with. He's a dear man, but he's very tricky sometimes. Now, if I can be of any help, don't hesitate to ask.
Mum, can I be honest with you?
Yes, of course. Oh, pass me those bedding plants, could you, darling?
Yes. I can't believe you're really getting divorced.
No, neither can I. Isn't it wonderful?
No, it's not wonderful. It's awful. Divorce is a terrible, traumatic business. It tears you apart. It's destructive. It's a living hell.
Really? I find it quite therapeutic. Look how the garden's improved.